So I imagine this is going to come up again.
Oh.
And so you probably want to have some foundation here to build from, but
Sure.
Why don't you define for us what capitalism is?
Okay. So, do I have to do this without being snarky?
No.
Okay. Well, all right. So capitalism, keeping it under the mark here. So capitalism is essentially a model of economics where money is able to make money on its own accord, where you are able to invest money to get out more money. Thus, you sort of remove the need for workers, and you remove the need for a human element in your economic system. If you are a banker who has a lot of money, who can just put money out there and invest it and then have money come back without having to rely on the population, the masses, then you have capitalism. Also, in order for this to exist, you basically need exploitation. There's no basically about it. You need exploitation. And by exploitation, we mean the work that a person puts in and the product that a person makes is significantly more or measurably more than they and their community need. So if I make 10 things, but I only really need 5 things in order to live, if I get to control those 10 things, okay, whatever. I can trade those things. I can do what I need to with those things to make my life a better, or my life or my community's life better. However, if somebody else gets to control those 5 things, that's exploitation. My labor is being exploited. And so the measure of the exploitation in that case is 5 things. So those 5 things are going to be controlled by a different person, and usually in the case of a capitalist system, those 5 things are going to be put into a bank or put into another business in order to produce 7 things, and then those 7 things come back and they're put into another bank in order to create 10 things. And essentially, my work has created this glut of ephemeral product, ephemeral capital that isn't mine. And so there's this sort of like disconnect and disenfranchisement there between the person and their production. Now, it's an economic system, but everything is political. You cannot really have capitalism as an economic system without capitalism directly influencing a political system. A lot of people say that you can regulate capitalism in order to make it safer, in order to make it more ethical, that sort of thing. But there's really not a realistic system out there. There's not a realistic model that allows for capitalism to exist while not influencing the political landscape. The nature of capitalism requires inequality. One person has to have a lot of things while other people have to have fewer things. That's the nature of exploitation. And in any system where one person has a lot more opportunity and a lot more power, they're going to be able to urge things and influence things. If you assume that you can regulate capitalism into being ethical and to not being an overwhelmingly powerful force, you would have to assume that a billionaire has the same influence that I do, and there's not really a model where that's going to work.
What's the answer to capitalism?
The answer to capitalism is destroying capitalism.
What's the solution to capitalism?
The solution to capitalism is to eradicate inequity. It is to end exploitation. It's for the workers to have the power over their own production.
But without capitalism, I can't have an iPhone, right?
That's bullshit. For one, your phone, your computer are probably made in countries that aren't exactly capitalist or are weird hybrid systems anyway. things like iPhones are typically made with state-sponsored technologies. The only real reason that your iPhone is significantly different than other phones is because, for one, branding and marketing are huge capitalist tools. Another, though, is that capitalist states tend to use violence in order to protect wealth and property. So Apple has patent number 573,463, blah, blah, blah. And that's a specific type of antenna that's very efficient and does its thing very, very well. And the United States government puts together a military and a structure for a police force that is able to defend that. If you break that patent, you have to give them a lot of money. And if you don't, you are a criminal. Criminals are met with institutional violence. Essentially, the system exists to perpetuate the system. Without the system, as it may be, anyone could make their own iPhone. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's sort of the thing.
But what about merit? Doesn't Apple deserve all the money because they made the iPhone?
Well, kind of like what we were just talking about was they didn't really make the iPhone. Their merit, give them a little bit of credit. There's some artistry and some industrial design there that's really nice. So maybe they deserve some credit and acknowledgement for that. But not every piece of that iPhone is something that they made of their own merit. Also, a lot of that merit came from already having money. And if having money and having political power is a form of merit that can be used in order to establish more merit, then your meritocracy is inherently flawed.
Because it's based on a skill no more than having money.
Yeah, it's occasionally you get breakout successes in the world who are people who do not necessarily come from money and who do not rely on exploitation. Sometimes you have artists who just become totally viral and become immensely wealthy very quickly. Typically that's short-lived, but generally merit is just being in the right place at the right time with the right amount of money. We, at least some people on the left, believe that if we remove that money from the equation, if we remove that political power and that capital from the equation, then merit will be truly merit. Artists and creators will be able to be recognized separate from their business acumen.
Okay.
Which I think is really great as an artist.
8 minutes. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, I think that's a good starter discussion.
Okay.